we are losing our ability to think. This is happening for several reasons. And the thinking I'm talking about is the critical thinking, the creative thinking, and the emotional thinking. Okay, those are really important for us to interact with each other, to innovate, to create, and to live a beautiful life. So what is happening? What is this is happening? So basically, from school, we can say that at the moment school are somehow teaching us how to pass an exam. Okay, so they give us the final answer. And somehow we don't need to learn how to explore and find our own answer, but we need to learn the best answer, the easy answer to pass the exam. But then we have also platforms like TikTok and other social network that what they give us is like the final thought. Okay, so basically they don't show the process to arrive to the solution. Okay, they just give us the solution, which is, if you if you scroll on TikTok, it's full of gurus telling us, okay, those deep deep truth and so on. So what we don't get is the process. How did you get there? And then we have also now AI, of course. Okay, so AI is the ultimate thinking machine. It's a machine built to replace human thinking. And that is extremely, extremely dangerous. Okay, so now we have a series of elements that in somehow remove the process of thinking itself. Now, there are solutions for this. I'm going to talk about those solutions. But I'd like you to think a little bit about this, okay? And tell me if you are somehow feeling victim of this process of just consuming it's somehow the final product. And instead, if you would desire to see the process. So today's video it's gonna be a little bit about this process, okay? So I didn't plan much. I wrote down just one single page for this intro, basically. So because the idea here is simple, okay? So the thinking happen the moment that you say, okay, I'm gonna accept to feel lost for a moment, okay, and allow your brain to actually go into this noise and environment. So by noise means that the brain basically it never stops doing its work. Okay, so what it does is gonna always do something, and I would call that one noise. Okay, this is like the background noise. And it's kind of uncomfortable for some people, okay, having this constantly thinking and so on, and it's kind of tiring, and somehow you can also say boring, okay. And this background noise is influenced by what you are experiencing. Okay, so let's say you watch a movie and therefore there has been elements that are influencing this noise. You read a book and so on. Now, if you spend most of the time doom scrolling, then is that noise of doom scrolling also get inside the noise of your brain. So even though we call it noise, we can give a color to this noise. Okay, we can somehow create a noise that is more interesting. So what we consume daily is really important. Our experience daily is really important. That is not suggesting that you need to do this massive event. It is also it's just about the constant quality event and thinking and the experience that you provide. Okay, it is basically attention to reality. We can say that would be good enough. Okay, be present in what you're doing. So you create a background noise that is connected to reality. Now, what do we do with this background noise? Because it's just noise, correct? So in reality, our brain starts finding symmetries and elements that in somehow are interesting in this background noise, and those are the ideas. Okay, so as soon as you see something that makes sense, something that is worth exploring, then you focus on it. And then you start developing the idea. Okay, so the attention goes to the signal and not to the noise anymore. There's always going to be background noise, okay? But somehow you start focusing on this signal and start to pay attention. So this paying attention means now you put energy, and I'm not going to talk about how the brain works, okay? This is, let's say, it's not scientific. What I'm telling you is not scientific. It's how it feels like, Okay, so the feeling is now the energy goes in that direction, and what is happening is now you are starting developing this idea. Okay, more attention you give, and more you can define it. Now, this is a moment of extremely fragility. And what your brain does, it just grab the phone and say, okay, this is it's too much. I'm just gonna look at I'm just gonna doom scrolling. Okay, boom, you kill the process of thinking. That is in the trap we are at the moment. Okay, so even the process of thinking that we all have get distracted by other things because there is a requirement of energy that needs to be spent to create something out of the noise. So we're all thinking, okay, so I'm not not saying that we stop thinking completely, but there is a deeper level of thinking. Okay, so this deeper level require you to, when you have the distraction for your phone, and say, no, I'm going to stay on the signal, I'm going to explore, I'm going to go deeper and see what is out there. Now, at the beginning, it's you might be a genius, or you might be an average person, or maybe an idiot. Okay, so nevertheless, whatever you start doing at the beginning, it's both fragile and sometimes not even that interesting. Okay, so it's easy to say, ah, yeah, but this is not good enough, I'm gonna give up. But that is the trap. Okay, so we need to, in reality, understand, have faith in ourselves, and say, okay, this is nothing at the moment. But if I explore it, where can I go? Where this can go? So have that trust in yourself and say, okay, the first step is normal. That is, it's and somehow not that clever, even though they could be extremely clever. Okay, but say it's normally it's not that clever. Okay, because the cleverness happen later. Okay, it's happen when you reach, when you reach your level. Okay, you say, okay, my intelligence get to this point. Okay, what is clever? It's if you carry on. The moment that you carry on, your brain recognizes it as okay, this is new territory. This is really interesting. This is something that my brain never saw before. Okay, and that is the job to do. So doesn't matter what's your level. Okay, this is for everybody. If you're a genius, you're gonna take more time to get to this top level. If you are, I'm kidding when I say I'm an idiot. Okay, but it's fun to say. If you're an idiot like me, what is happening is you're gonna reach that level really soon. Okay, the struggle is if you're an idiot would say, okay, but I'm an idiot. How can I go forward? Okay, and that is experience basically, in the sense it's something that you need to work on. Okay, and I'm kidding about this idiot because this is happening to everybody at every level. As soon as you pass your threshold, what you need to do is to keep working, because it's not easy to go over, to improve yourself. Okay, it requires your brain to reorganize, to create new connection, to do new things. So that moment is the hardest part. And the only thing you can do is to keep doing it. Okay, this exercise of keep thinking make your brain more elastic. Okay, more able to adapt, to innovate, to find a solution, and so on. So now you think about, you change your attitude towards thinking. You don't give up. You carry on, and you try to see what is next. Okay, now your brain is really looking for information to be able to go next. Okay, that is change. That is how the game changes. So because now you need new information, because now you go to your limit. What you do, what your brain does, is look outside and say, okay, now I can learn from nature. I can learn from my dog. I can learn from this book. I can learn from that video, whatever it is. But now you're looking for higher quality. Okay, because you need a higher quality to improve yourself. So you need to go forward. And sometimes it doesn't mean that you. I mean, first of all, yeah, you should spend less time doom scrolling. But the moment that you do, let's say, even doom scrolling, you might find, because your attention is different, you might say, okay, I stop at this video. This video is enough to, because I got some new elements that can help me out with my idea, with my thought, or whatever. So this process, it's what we need to do. Okay, now let's look at AI, okay? Because AI is the ultimate thinking machine. Okay, these machines are, at, let's say at the moment they are not that clever, okay, but they are getting better and better. And if we think already 3 years ago when they started, they didn't even do reasoning. Okay, they just predict the next token. Now they do reasoning. Somehow they work in steps to create a reasoning thinking to achieve a better output. Now, that means that for us it's extremely easy to just get to the answer. Okay, but we can use AI not to find the answer, but to find our blind spot. What does it mean? So means that the moment that you reached your top level, okay, when you are to a level that is difficult to go forward, then you can use AI to help you out. Okay, so make AI ask you question. So the moment the AI asks you question means that now you have a specific direction where you can go. Because to answer the question, you need to think specific on that element. So it's like seeing something far. Okay, so that is the question. I mean, that would be the answer. So, but you know where to look now. Okay, because when you reach to the maximum level, it's kind of uncharted water. You're kind of lost. Okay, where shall I go? Where shall I go? It's everything. First of all, the beauty of uncharted water is wherever you go, you will find out something new and interesting. Okay, so don't worry that if you feel lost in this uncharted water, because it will be something new for you. But the question from AI can be used as I say, okay, now I can go, I know if I go there, there is something that I will learn. That is valuable for me because the question itself contain element of what you will find out. So you can allow AI to ask you one question, maybe 10 questions, you pick the one that you like. But anyway, this is the moment that you start navigating through AI. So instead of using AI to give you answer, use AI to give you question. And then when you have your idea formed, okay, now you can use AI to challenge it. Okay, because when you create an idea, it's still a kind of, let's say you build a building, okay, this building is your idea. But it's still a kind of not completely structured. There's elements that are missing. There are, some elements that are not totally defined. Okay, when the AI challenged you, what it does is going to try to break your idea. So breaking your idea means, okay, so now I need to structure better the element so the element become fortified and cannot be attacked or broken. And that is the job, okay? So think about what we've been saying now. So we have an attitude, a culture, an environment where stop us to do this critical, creative, and emotional thinking. Okay, this is how society has been built, this app have been built, and school and so on. Okay, so we are in that environment. We need to get out. So meaning try to stay away from the doom scrolling, the kind of way of learning, just learn to find to pass an exam, completely wrong. So stay away all of this and stay away from AI that gives you answer. So you now need to build a different environment, an environment where you get challenged, okay, where you are the explorer, you are the pioneer that investigate those areas. You might say, okay, I can't discover new things, but doesn't matter. It's not about discovering new things. Okay, it's about changing how your brain works, changing how you live in this world. In the sense, I don't need to discover something new. Okay, I need to allow my brain to discover something new for my brain. Okay, maybe there is books written about that thing. I don't know. Okay, and like at the moment, look at my thinking. Okay, I don't know how the brain works in reality. Okay, you can argue nobody knows. Okay, but exactly nobody knows maybe. No, but there are some theories. There are books explain how the brain works. But I can see this through my brain, and I can analyze it and say, okay, this is how I feel. I'm not 100% sure that this is how it works, but this is how it really works. So I experiment on it and discover this new element. So I found, let's say, my own language to explain how my brain works, how I can improve my thinking. And because it works, then I'm sharing it with you. Okay, so again, I'm not in honesty, there's part of what I'm saying is connected to science, but because I'm not a science, I'm not gonna say this is correct 100%. I'm just saying that it's connected to science in somehow. Our brain, the noise, the background, they are connected, but there might be some specific differences. But it doesn't matter about this. What is matter is I found my own language to explain my own life, my own reasoning, and I found a way to improve it. Okay, now you can say, okay, I did all this thinking on my own. Okay, I reached to this level. Now I can say, okay, I want to find out more. I'm really interested in this element. I'm going to read some books. Now, see how change the attitude from consuming random, the doom scrolling, random stuff. And even in school, in somehow it's random because it's it's connected to an exam. Okay, so you're learning things to pass an exam. You're not learning things to improve your thinking. Now, reading the book that talk about I don't know how the brain works, it's not random anymore. Now you want to know, you want to understand. Okay, and that is how we do pioneering, discovering. And again, it doesn't matter if that thing is already been discovered. Doesn't matter. Okay, what is matter is how you change your attitude towards life. Okay, you're not looking for answer. You're looking to understand the world from with your own hands, with your own brain, with your, with your intuition. So you start because of this, you start developing intuition. So, from my experience, what's the biggest challenge to this is thinking that you are not good enough to do this. Okay, that is the biggest challenge. And sometimes we think this because of our parents, because maybe we are not always the most clever people in the room, and whatever. Okay, so we've been pushed down in a sense. Yeah, if you're not the best, therefore you can't do this. Well, that is the video what I'm arguing. It doesn't matter your level. Okay, you can be from an idiot to a genius. We all have the same. Okay, we all reach to our maximum, and then we go into the uncharted water, and that is where the difficulty happen. So it doesn't matter where you are. What is it counts is the step that you make after where you are now. Okay, and that is gonna grow. So you do the next step, and then the next step, and then the next step. Okay, and is that what we should do as a human? Okay, for yourself, you should do it for yourself. I do it for myself, and we should encourage ourselves to start thinking critically and so on. So now, this is I express this idea as a individual. Okay, this is what you do on yourself. And I'm just start saying that this is something that we should do as a community in somehow. So encourage other people to do the same. But there is an element that can be actually done together. Okay, so now the thing that I was asking about AI. Okay, so using AI to ask you a question. In reality, you can sit with a friend and somehow have this not brainstorming. How would you call it? Opinion making session. Okay, in the sense, I have my opinion, you have your opinion, let's develop our opinions on a subject. Okay, so opinion is made by exchanging this idea. Okay, I share what I know, you share what you know, we start to imagine what it could be, how it should be, and think about this in I don't know, it can be even politics, for example. Okay, so it's forget about the party. Think about the ideas that are there out there. Would be the solution? What are the challenge to reach the solution? Why they think that is the right? The politician think that is the right direction. Why? And that could be from corruption to whatever valuable ideas. But start thinking all those process or analyzing and getting data from yourself and not from outside. Okay, those are the elements that we need to do. Find excuses to think. And remember, there's a lot of way of thinking, okay? But the at least these three elements, the three different thinking needs to be looked after, okay? So the critical thinking, the creative thinking, and the emotional thinking. Those are extremely important for us, for career, for friendship, for relationship, for family, for work, for everything. Okay, you have these three elements of thinking. If you look after them, your life will change, and will change for the better. So I want to end this video with say two things. Okay, so I started this video with one page. Okay, meaning I was not prepared to what I would say, because I wanted to show how I think. Okay, so I've been had a fixed starting point, and I didn't know what would happen later. So I started thinking while talking. I was thinking about what would be like, what are the challenges, and so on. Okay, there are for sure a lot of things that I should have said I forgot. Okay, or maybe that I know yeah, I forgot or didn't mention or didn't come to my mind. But doesn't matter. The point here is you start and you navigate this uncharted water. Okay, and then you reach to something. Now I know more, maybe you know more, maybe it's a mess, doesn't matter, but we did it. Okay, so again, if you like this kind of content, like and subscribe, and thanks for staying until the end, and watch the next video. Ciao, ciao.